The title says it all. These are, in my opinion, the top 5 most comfortable football boots of 2021, with, of course, some honorable mentions at the end. And I don't want to waste too much time, but I must say that I don't think there's an abundance of super comfortable football boots right now. It's not to say that there are a bunch of uncomfortable ones, but there aren't that many standouts, at least at the start of 2021. That could change as the year goes on. Nonetheless, if you're interested in any of the boots that I'll be talking about in this video, there will be links to the review pages down below in the description, where you'll be able to pick up any of these below their normal retail prices with, of course, some SR4U coupon codes. If you do end up enjoying this and want to see more top 5 videos for 2021, don't forget to support this one with a like. And if you are new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on weekly content on everything football boots, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. The Nike Phantom GT Elite is easily the most simple football boot currently on offer from the Nike brand, and while I don't think they're the most comfortable football boots Nike have ever made, there's really not much about it that most people are going to find uncomfortable. It is a thin, very flexible Flyknit upper with minimal structure to it. It's got a wider overall shape, a little bit of extra volume, which typically lends itself well to a more comfortable overall fit, especially if you don't like your feet being squeezed overly tight. The sole plate feels very solid underfoot, and in general, there isn't much about these that I think most people aren't going to find comfortable. Also, this of course is the low cut variation, my preference of the 2 top end variations, but if you prefer having the collar, the mid cut version of the boot is equally as comfortable. The New Balance Furon V6 Pro isn't just underrated, it's extremely comfortable. I think the highlight of this boot is definitely the knitted upper that is extremely soft, has a nice amount of padding to it, and just moves very naturally with your foot. Unlike a lot of the Flyknit and even knitted uppers that we've seen from the Adi brand, this is extremely pliable and really has no stiffness to it, which means that when you put your foot in the boots, they're pretty much instantly broken in. There's really not much that's going to change about the upper as you continue to wear them. It has this super natural sock-like sensation. The central lacing system allows for a secure fit with the laces tied tight, and the base shape of the boot isn't overly narrow in any way. Lockdown through the heel is good without the boots feeling overly stiff there, and the sole plate and stud pattern is one of the best we've ever seen from the New Balance brand and feels quite good underfoot as well. In general, if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, but I think most importantly, super comfortable, this would be a great choice. The Puma Future Z, which as I'm making this video, has only been released in this extremely limited pre-release colorway, but it will be readily available in regular colors as the year goes on. Nonetheless, they are very comfortable football boots in that it utilizes a very soft, slightly padded upper. The way that they've done this band through the midfoot really does a nice job of hugging your foot without squeezing it in uncomfortable ways. The general construction of the heel is fantastic, and I think this new Z-shaped sole plate feels really solid underfoot, has good flexibility to it, and in general is just super comfortable. It's a very significant redesign in comparison to past Puma Future models, which I think have been pretty comfortable across the board over the years. But if you like the Puma Future 5.1 or 6.1 that it replaces, this is basically the same thing in terms of being just as comfortable, just a little bit more snug. They've lowered the volume ever so slightly, but it's a boot that fits well, and I think, again, most importantly, is very comfortable with pretty much no break-in time. It's also the only boot on this list that technically you can wear laceless. I don't think they're nearly as comfortable this way, but if you have the boots and you want to try it out, that's obviously free to do, and comfort is ultimately a very subjective thing, so some people might find these more comfortable without the laces. Any Mizuno Morelia would be an excellent choice if comfort is a priority in your football boots. As an example, I have the limited edition made in Japan Mizuno Morelia Zero, but any variant of the Morelia, even the Indonesian made ones, are excellent options. It's a full kangaroo leather upper. Obviously the made in Japan ones have pretty much the nicest leather you're going to find on any football boot, period. And while the boot does have an old school appearance, similar to a classic Copa Mundial, also very comfortable by the way, it has the overall shape and fit of a much more modern football boot. They're also very light considering how they look. The sole plate is super comfortable, especially if you play on harder ground with these slightly shorter and wider shaped studs, which obviously aren't as aggressive when it comes to bite and traction, but definitely more comfortable in terms of dispersing pressure evenly underneath your foot. And of course, like any kangaroo leather football boot will do, they mold to the shape of your feet as you wear them in, getting more and more comfortable over time. The Mizuno brand as a whole is never really a bad option if comfort is a priority, but the Morelia for me is the most comfortable of the boots they currently have on offer. The Puma Ultra 1.1. Not only is this the lightest football boot currently on the market, it's also one of the most comfortable, and that is largely due to the Matrix Evo upper, as well as the overall shape and silhouette that Puma have gone with here, where unlike something like a Mercurial as an example, which is a comfortable football boot, it's one of the most popular boots on the market for a reason. This is a little bit wider, has slightly more volume, so it doesn't necessarily squeeze your foot in uncomfortable ways. It's very natural in terms of how it moves with your foot. And again, when you add in the lightness that this boot has, it really does feel like you aren't wearing anything on your feet at all. And again, if you compare it to what Adidas has on offer from their speed boot line with the X Ghosted series, both the Plus and Point 1 are very good, but the thin synthetic kind of plasticky uppers, while not uncomfortable, are nowhere near as comfortable as the Puma Ultras when you compare the two side by side. So if you're into the speed boot category and comfort is a huge priority for you, I don't think there's a better choice than the Puma Ultra. I already know someone's gonna be super angry with me down below in the comments section, and this has nothing to do with me liking one brand more than the next. Comfort is, like I mentioned, a very subjective thing. Everyone has their own personal preferences. I'm just somebody that happens to have had the opportunity to try just about everything that's currently available. And in my opinion, I don't think any of Adidas's inline models at this point in time are top 5 in overall comfort. All of their laceless boots are more or less an acquired taste, so if you like laceless boots, you'll probably find them quite comfortable. I don't think that any of their Point 1 variations are near the top of the list in terms of comfort either. I would say probably the most comfortable out of the Adidas brand right now would actually be the Nemesis Point 1, formerly known as the Nemesis 19.1, but those are not particularly popular. And then obviously, the classic Adidas Copa Mundial would probably be your #1 option for overall comfort from the Adidas brand. They are absolute classics after all, but it's also one of those football boots that is very old school and doesn't really, I guess, feel like anything else modern in the football boot industry. So while they're comfortable, they're probably not for everybody. If you're on a budget and you just want something simple and I think more importantly super comfortable, the Nike Premier 2 is probably your best bet. Obviously, take a look at what else is on sale whenever you're buying a brand new pair of football boots, but in terms of boots with a lower overall retail price, the full kangaroo leather upper, the traditional central lacing system and standard tongue design, the synthetic suede heel liner, the more flexible sole plate, this is a football boot that is basically a recipe for comfort. Definitely a solid option if you're on a budget. It would be stupid for me to not include a pair of Mercurials on almost any list, but the current generation of Mercurial Superfly 7 and Vapor 13 Elite are arguably the most comfortable top-end Mercurials ever made. They're just not comfortable in the traditional sense in that they fit like Mercurials, which means that they squeeze your foot tighter than a traditional football boot would. So if you really like Mercurials, this is probably the most comfortable generation of Mercurials of all time. But like I said, they're not comfortable in the traditional sense, so it does depend on what your personal preferences are. Due to Neymar signing with Puma, the Puma King Platinum has seen a bit of a resurgence, and for good reason. They are actually very good football boots, and from a comfort standpoint, while I think they do require a little bit more break-in time than some of the other boots mentioned on this list, once broken in, the super thin kangaroo leather upper molds to the exact shape of your foot, softens up significantly, and the boots pretty much feel like you aren't wearing anything at all. So I don't think they're top 5 in comfort, but they're certainly very comfortable football boots. And there you have it, folks. Out of all the current model football boots available in early 2021, these are, in my opinion at least, the top 5 most comfortable, but feel free to share your own list down below in the comment section. If your boots were not on this list, just to clarify, that does not mean that I think they're uncomfortable. I just don't think they're in the top 5. But of course, everyone has their own opinion when it comes to comfort. As always, if you guys are interested in any of the boots that I mentioned in this video, there are links to the review pages down below in the description where you'll be able to pick up any of these options below their normal retail prices with, of course, some exclusive SR4U coupon codes. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask them down below in the comment section and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you. If you aren't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.